What's up, schmucks? Welcome to, what is this, episode 3 of Turkey Talk. I am genuinely amazed that I'm committing to doing this. I feel a little silly having like a solo podcast, but also, I mean, all of my videos are just me talking, so I guess it's not that different. Actually, it's always not going to be just me, because I may or may not have recorded a collab with a TikToker with a prominent following. So yeah, that might be a thing. Anyway, as we have been doing, we're going to stick to our loose schedule thing of sorts, itinerary, I suppose, structuring, if you want to call it that, which is we're going to talk about the news, we're going to talk about a topic, kinda, not really, and then we're going to do the weekly media club. Homework was Batman Returns, so we're going to talk about Batman Returns. I don't really have a topic this week. Nothing of note really happened that I felt a need to speak on. So I'll just, what I've done is I've put the news story that I have the most to say about at the end. So that is, I guess that'll just be the topic. That'll just be the thing I speak on the most. And then we'll go from the news to the weekly media club. So this might end up being a pretty short one. So yeah, let's get right into it. This week we're going to be talking about Scary Movie 6, Backrooms trailer, Mortal Kombat 2 trailer. Sony has talked about the potential of the Venomverse, Spider-Man villain spinoff universe. What's going to happen with that? Smiling Friends in the news. Snyderverse might be coming back. Jonathan Majors is getting work again. That's not like something I care about, but I just wanted to talk about it. There is a new G.I. Joe movie, and then we got a first look at the God of War TV show adaptation, and that's the thing that I want to really sink my teeth into. So there are timestamps below if you are interested. And let's get into it. Let's start with Scary Movie 6. The trailer is playing ahead of Scream 7, which I am not going to watch. I stand with Melissa Barrera. Also, it looks terrible. So even if I didn't believe in the things that she said and think it was wrong that she was fired for having an opinion on something that really shouldn't be opinionated. I mean, when you see an entire group of people get obliterated off the face of the earth and you say, well, that's wrong and that shouldn't be happening, and you're fired for it, obviously that's fucking wrong. So yeah, I mean, come on. Anywho, looks terrible, not gonna watch it. But the Scary Movie 6 trailer is playing ahead of it. People record it, it's online, you can find it. And it looks okay. It looks like the rest of them. And I think that the scary movies I think they range in quality. Like, I really like the second one, and I think I'm the only person that liked the fifth one. But then, like, the other ones have their moments, but on the whole, I think they're fine. I think they take the whole parody thing to a degree where, I don't know, it's parts of it kind of just feel like SNL sketches, almost. Like, it feels more like a sketch show than anything. And sometimes the spoofs themselves are not very funny. But I made a list of all the things that are being spoofed in Scary Movie 6. So they're doing Megan to a degree, maybe. I mean, there's a Megan joke, but I don't know if they're actually going to do Megan. Scream 6. There's been some debate about this. I mean, people are saying that Anna Faris holed up in her house, and she's like, I've been preparing for this forever. Is a Final Destination's Bloodlines riff, and it might be, but I get more Halloween 2018 vibes off that, with Laurie dedicating her life to when Michael Myers is going to come back. They're doing Sinners, they're doing Weapons, Get Out, Smile, Long Legs, The Substance, and Terrifier, but more specifically Terrifier 3. And then obviously there'll be some other ones in there, I'm sure, that we haven't seen or are not in the trailer. But yeah, I mean, I don't have too many things to say about this. I think the scary movies are fine. I'm sure there'll be some fantastic jokes in it, and then there'll be some that just don't land. Moving on, we also had trailers for the Backrooms and Mortal Kombat 2. I'm actually going to pause right here because I haven't watched these trailers yet. So I'm going to watch them and then I'll talk about them. All right, so we'll start with the Backrooms. Full disclosure, I don't know what the Backrooms is. Like, I'm vaguely familiar with it, that it's Kane Pixels is the guy that created it, and it started as a sort of mini series short video. I don't want to call it analog horror. It's not analog horror, but it's kind of on that vein of brief, vague horror concept video that I think a lot of analog horror kind of spawned out of. And that's all I know about it. But I also know there's like fan-made games that have monsters and shit in it, and that was never part of the original vision. And it's more of a abstract sci-fi concept thing than something with like lore or anything. That's my understanding. I could be absolutely wrong. I don't know. I have no interest in this. I'll still see it. I'm not rooting against it. I just don't know anything about this. And I can't say that I have like a dog in this fight, that I'm rooting for this, that I'm rooting against that. I just don't care. You know, it's, I don't know. But Kane Pixel is the youngest director to ever work with A24, which I think is really cool. I think it's cool that we're getting new, young, fresh voices in filmmaking. Like, that is very special and important. So I hope for the best. I hope this is good. I don't know. Again, I don't know anything about it. I don't care. I would like for it to be good. I want all movies to be good. Speaking of movies that are good, probably not going to be Mortal Kombat 2. I didn't like Mortal Kombat 1 when that came out in 2021, I believe. This was going to come out last year, and then they delayed it to this year. I think it's out in May, I think. I want to say May. Could be wrong. Not going to look it up. But I don't think this looks great. It looks a lot like the last one, which I don't know. I'm hoping that it's a little more fast-paced, I guess. The first one spends a lot of its time explaining this weird world that doesn't make a lot of sense. And then there's a little bit of Mortal Kombat, but not a lot of Mortal Kombat. And so I'm hoping that this one just dives right into the Mortal Kombat of it all. Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. I should also say, I don't know a lot about Mortal Kombat. I played the new one, Mortal Kombat 1. I think I've maybe played Mortal Kombat X, maybe. But I don't know the lore. I don't know the characters or anything, really. But I think Carl Urban as Johnny Cage looks fun. I like the energy he's bringing to this. But I also I don't know. I think he's old. I think he's a little old for this character. But I at the same time, maybe not, because they're kind of going for that old, washed-up superstar of yesteryear kind of thing. So maybe he is perfect for this. But I think he's really fun in these trailers, what we're seeing so far. He's got like a charm to him. He's got an arrogance and a spite in his line delivery that I really like. I think that's great. I don't know who they have playing Katana, but she looks fantastic. I don't like that she has like a fucking nanotech mask. I don't enjoy that. I know Tati Gabrielle is playing God, I don't know the fucking names. Melina, maybe. There's that guy with the big mouth. He looks good. Hiroyuki Sanada is back as Scorpion. I've never loved his casting. I think he is fantastic. He's great, but he's in the first one for about 10 seconds. Which is, I don't know, a little underwhelming. But I also don't really buy him as Scorpion, you know, the incredible martial artist who's pulling out fucking moves that would make Iron Fist blush. Like, I don't know. I believe him in the sense of, like, in Shogun, where he's a old general who's, you know, got experience and wisdom to him. I don't believe him to be, like, the most lethal killer the world has ever seen. So, not that he's necessarily miscast, but I think he might be a little miscast. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 2, it actually, you know what? I am going to look it up. I'm going to look it up right now. It is out in May. I was right. I know things. But yeah, that's all I got. Looks fine. I don't expect it to be good, but maybe it will be. What else we got here? Oh yeah, okay. Sony Pictures CEO is talking about the Spider-Man villain spin-off universe, or the Venomverse as I've been calling it, how it might come back, or they're intending for it to come back. That after the failure that was Kraven the Hunter, they want to reboot this. So I'm going to say this now, fucking don't. These movies made no money and are bad. Let's like learn our lessons from that. But you know what? There's a lot of hype around the Spider-Verse movies. There's a lot of hype around Spider-Man Brand New Day. There's a lot of excitement for Spider-Noir. Maybe the lesson here is people want to see Spider-Man and not Spider-Man villains without Spider-Man. Maybe that's the lesson here. Are you seeing the numbers that the Tom Holland movies bring in? Brand New Day, we had 3 Spider-Men, and that made $1 billion. Is that a good movie? No, not really. But people like Spider-Man. Superman did big numbers, all right? Batman always does big numbers. Look at comic sales. People love Batman. But you know who people like a little bit more than all the other superheroes? Fucking Spider-Man. Spider-Man is that fucking guy. He's not my favorite superhero, but he's most people's favorite superhero. And even like people that don't love Spider-Man, they see Spider-Man movies. He's just a character that connects with people. My mom doesn't really like superhero movies or anything, really. It's just not her thing. But she is seated for every Spider-Man movie. She hasn't missed one. It's just a thing. He's just a character that connects with people. So to look at that as a studio and decide, well, we're not going to make more Spider-Man movies. We cracked the egg open we cracked open the Snyderverse, but we're going to not do that. And instead, we're going to make Big Wheel the movie. Good fucking Lord. And like, why? Why are we gonna we actually, what was it, last week we talked about how there's an animated Venom movie in production. Are we going to do more of that stuff? Like animated Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man? I like the idea of animated Spider-Man movies. I would take an animated spectacular Spider-Man movie, bring that back, round that out. That would be really cool. It's just, I don't know. It's just a shame that Sony sits on this character who has so much potential and just does fuck all with it. Spider Noir, I mean, that's a character that doesn't have like a ton of lore to work with, but the studio felt confident enough in this thing to give it to some creatives who have made a Spider Noir TV show, like a noir detective drama about Spider-Man. That's really cool. But like, what? Why stop there? There's a whole bunch of Spider-Men. Look at the Spider-Verse movies, all the Spider-Man they introduced in that. Why don't we do 2099? We could do Spider-Man India, Spider-Punk. Wasn't that a thing? There was going to be a Spider-Punk spinoff, something. Like, let's just do more of that. You could make other Spider-Man movies adjacent to the MCU ones. Like, it's not going to confuse people. We're expecting to have 2 different ongoing Batman versions in the movies. Let's, like, come on. It's just a waste, ultimately. That's really what it comes down to. It's a fucking waste of this IP that sells like hotcakes, and Sony is consistently run by the dumbest fucking people alive. But whatever. You know, it's out of my hands. They'll release these terrible movies, and then we'll get to talk about them. So, it's not all bad. Smiling Friends is over, apparently. Zach Hadel and Michael Cusack released a video talking about it, that they felt very burnt out over the last couple of years making the show, producing the show, but they also said that they felt very accomplished, that they did what they kind of set out to do, and they feel like the show hit its peak, and they're more or less done with it, that they feel happy and content with this being the end. There's 2 more episodes of season 3. Once those come out, that'll be the end of it. But yeah, that's it for Smiling Friends. I'm okay with this. I rewatch it every once in a while. It's one of those like comfort things. I just throw on a random episode if I need something to watch in the background. And I'm fine with that just being the way it is. I would much prefer that than it running continuously and getting worse as it goes. Or maybe not even worse, just like me getting sick of it and losing interest in it. Like more, I said Mortal Kombat. I'm looking at my sheet. Rick and Morty. That's kind of where that hit with me. I haven't touched Rick and Morty since season, I want to say 4, but I don't even know if it was 4. But it hit a point where I was like, I don't care about this anymore. I don't know. But I would prefer them ending on a high note. You know, when a show that's serialized gets canceled or ends or what have you, there is like a sadness to that, because it feels like, you know, it wasn't over. I remember when Daredevil got canceled, I was really upset about that, because it felt like it wasn't over. Like, there was more story to tell. And to end on that note was very upsetting. But Smiling Friends doesn't really have that. It's week-to-week adventures. It's a different thing happening every week. It's not serialized. There's no plot threads left unattended to. It can end now. It can end whenever it wanted to. So I'm not super beat up about it. And, you know, like, this leaves room for Hadel and Cusack to go and do other things, something else that they're very passionate about. It's not like they're dying, you know. they're still going to be able to take those creative juices and put them elsewhere, and maybe they'll go on to produce something even better and funnier than Smiling Friends. It's entirely possible, and I think they even said that it's not completely over, that they're not against coming back to doing more. But I mean, I think Adult Swim even ordered seasons 4 and 5. So I don't know. Is there some kind of contract obligation there that the show has to continue? Or because they're the creatives and the showrunners, they get to just pull the plug when they want to? I don't know. Maybe this is all a big marketing ploy. Get everyone talking about it, and then you surprise drop season 4 next week. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. But, you know, I'm okay with this. I'm happy with the show having 3 really good, solid seasons, and that being where it ends. A lot better than it running for the next 3 years and it being garbage by the time we get to season 5. So, yeah, I'm completely fine with this. Is it a little upsetting? Yeah, of course it is. But it's not the end of the world. On the flip side of franchises dying, we have Zack Snyder in the news talking about how the Snyderverse might come back. Yeah. He was also in the news this week because I guess someone asked him about the Snyder cult. I don't think they called it that when they asked him it. But they asked him about his fan base. And he was like, if you don't like them, you can fuck off. They save lives. The Snyder cult are fucking insane. Not only do they not really love movies or the DC characters, they're just kind of lunatics. Like, they will tell you to kill yourself if you say that you prefer Robert Pattinson Batman over Ben Affleck. And they'll make AI videos of Cavill coming back to be Superman. Like, they're so anti-art. It's almost embarrassing. And I have wanted to make a video about this for a long time. But I don't understand why the Snyder fans like those movies. Because they're not particularly good. And they're also not good adaptations of those characters. Like, if you are a Batman fan, you wouldn't point to Ben Affleck Batman and be like, oh yeah, that's the Batman. That's my Batman. You just wouldn't, because he doesn't embody that character in a thorough way. I don't know. I don't get it. It's weird. It's like they're loyal to him for making some mid-ass movies, but not like the movies themselves. It's very strange. Anyway, he said that he is considering continuing the Snyderverse through comics or animation. Now, I know I just went on a little thing there about why I'm not a huge fan, and I'm not. I think Zack Snyder as a person, he seems lovely, but his movies are bad. His best movie is probably, I don't know, Dawn of the Dead, maybe? And I haven't seen that in a very long time, so that could be wrong. But I don't think he's a great filmmaker. Army of the Dead was bad. I didn't see, what was his Star Wars movie called? Rebel Moon? I didn't see either of those. Looked terrible. Apparently they are. Batman v Superman is atrocious, and, you know, on and on. Not a fan of his work. A fan of the man, more or less. But I will read these. If they put them into comics, if they put his really stupid ideas into comics, I'll read them. Sure. Because I'm not sure how familiar people are with his idea for, like, the Snyderverse, but it's not very good. And this kind of pulls on to, like, what his whole deal is. Zack Snyder does not have love in his heart for Batman or Superman or the DC mythos the way that, like, James Gunn does. You know, James Gunn has actual, like, stakes and considerations for the characters that he's adapting, for the most part. Like, he connects to Superman and Lex Luthor and Lois Lane, and he can write them in a way that shows that he gives a shit. Or even Matt Reeves, who has a very deep understanding of Batman, made a Batman movie that is the quintessential Batman movie. But Snyder doesn't have any of that. Zack Snyder is a vibes man. He likes big, strong, macho man doing big, strong, macho man shit. He is a religious man. He loves the religious allegories and the religious imagery. You know what he would probably excel at? He would probably make a really good Daredevil movie. Maybe not with Charlie Cox, but you know what? Maybe. No one ever gives a bad performance in a Zack Snyder movie. Like, say what you will about him, and I've made videos, but he gets fantastic performances out of his actors, and no actor has ever said that they had a bad time on one of his sets. Like, he seems like he runs a solid ship. People like working with him. Dave Bautista spoke very highly of working with him. Even Affleck and Cavill, who didn't necessarily have a great time making those movies. I know Affleck didn't at all, but they still speak highly of him. So he's not a bad director in that sense. It's just the final product is not very good. But his ideas and stuff, they don't go with DC. He's not making those. He didn't make those movies because he had a special angle to Batman or a special angle to Superman. He made them because he thinks they look cool. He thinks the pictures are nice. He wants to bring those pictures to life. There's a lot of really good imagery in his movies, but the context around that imagery is dumb. Batman v Superman is a perfect example. Batman hits the Dark Knight Returns cover with the lightning. He hits that shit. It's awesome. But, beyond that, why does he do that? Oh, he's running from Doomsday. Why is he fighting Doomsday? Because Lex Luthor made Doomsday. Why the fuck did he do that? It's shit like that. Or Superman gets hit with a nuke because it happens in the Dark Knight Returns. But in the Dark Knight Returns, I'm going down a rabbit hole. But it happens in the Dark Knight Returns for a very specific reason. And that specific reason is not present in that movie. That thing only happens because it's a thing that happened in a comic. And he just wants to recreate it visually. But he doesn't care about the story. He doesn't care about the character. His ideas ultimately were just telling a grandiose story about religion and redemption and big, strong macho man saving the day. But he was going to do it with DC characters, which I personally am not a fan of. I want to see these characters brought to life in live action, but I also think it's okay to take liberties. It's okay to make a character from the comic to the big screen and change some things, adjust some things, whatever it might be. I have no issue with that as long as the additions and changes don't break the character. But a lot of his changes did break the character. He also never wanted a cinematic universe. That was Warner Brothers and DC. They wanted a cinematic universe to rival Marvel, which is why they were announcing we're going to get Joss Whedon to do a Batgirl movie. We have a Nightwing movie in production. We're going to do a Ben Affleck Batman movie that's going to start a trilogy. We're going to do a Wonder Woman trilogy, Aquaman movies, and whatever. But that was never Snyder's vision. Snyder's vision was Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Justice League 1, 2, and 3. And he was going to have a 5-movie arc. And that was going to be the whole story. He wanted to make a 5-movie story arc. But it was the studios that wanted a universe. So off the back of BVS, we get a Wonder Woman spinoff. Off the back of Justice League, we get a Flash movie that's in production for a fucking decade. And then we get the Aquaman movie. And there was going to be a Cyborg movie and all this other stuff. There was going to be a Green Lantern movie that, if I remember correctly, what's his name? Christopher McQuarrie, the Mission Impossible guy. He was going to direct it. That was rumored for a while, but there was a Green Lantern movie in production that just never got anywhere. It's just the studio wanted something that Snyder didn't intend for. And so I'm not against a comic series continuing his ideas. I don't think they're good ideas. Batman was going to get Lois Lane pregnant. The son was going to become the new Batman. Fucking Wonder Woman was gonna get one-shotted by Darkseid. Superman was not gonna be super integral in the final battles, and it was gonna come down to Batman and Joker. The Riddler was going to solve the anti-life equation. I don't know. It's stuff that I think a 12-year-old would really enjoy, because it's angsty and it's hardcore, and it's whoa, I can't believe they did that. But the more you read of Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman comic books and what have you, the more you start to go, there are rules to these characters that Snyder did not respect. And I'm not going to get super into it, but the killing thing with Batman's always pissed me off, because I think Snyder was almost onto something with it, and then he just drops the ball. But that might be a video I make at some point. But yeah, I mean, I'm not against the Snyderverse continuing through comic books. I don't know. I will read them if they are made. I would love to see his ideas brought to life through like a really good artist lens. But I can't say that I'm chomping at the bit to see what he had in mind to come to fruition, because I don't think it was very good what he wanted to do, but it also, I mean, it's better than what fucking Tom King is doing with Wonder Woman. Oh my god, don't get me fucking started on that shit. Fuck Tom King. Fuck Tom King. I like Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, but the shit he's doing with Wonder Woman, abysmal. Okay, let's move on. Jonathan Majors is making a comeback. Which, for context, and I guess to get people caught up, Jonathan Majors, unfortunately very talented. He's very good in Creed 3, probably my favorite part of Creed 3. The only good part of Ant-Man 3. God damn, there was another thing he was in that I really liked. The one with Journey Bell Smollett. It was a show on HBO Max. Lovecraft Country, something like that, but that was really good. Very talented actor, unfortunately, because he's a scumbag. Not off the back, but around the time that Ant-Man 3 came out and they were going to do the big Kang saga, he was arrested and charged with the assault and battery of his then girlfriend. Went to court and he was found, I don't remember if he was found guilty or if he was acquitted, but I know that it was confirmed that he did beat her. He did harm and hurt his girlfriend. There's recordings of him admitting it. The evidence is there. He did that shit. So he hasn't really had a career since then. And I think it is interesting. There are other known abusers in Hollywood. There's pictures of when Michael Fassbender abused his girlfriend, of her with black eyes and stuff. Fassbender is a woman abuser. Brad Pitt's abuse of his kids is, to my knowledge, well known. People seem to know that that's a thing that he did. And there's other examples. Jared Leto has got fucking pedophile allegations against him. He started a cult. Fucking, oh my god, who's that woman? She was on Smallville. She did abuse people physically, sexually, all kinds of abuse. But there's a handful of people in Hollywood that have done or continue to do terrible shit, but still are active, have a career. But the black guy who's a scumbag, we'll throw him under the bus. But the white people that are terrible, just, I don't know, ignore that. I don't know. It's just interesting who does and doesn't fail when they're all doing the same evil shit. That being said, Jonathan Majors is making a comeback as he is set to star in a new movie for the Daily Wire, and Ben Shapiro will produce. I think this is very strange. The Daily Wire making movies alone is strange, because they don't seem to be very good. I haven't seen any of them. I was gonna watch Lady Ballers just for the meme, but I can't put myself through that. But I am very interested in how this will go for Jonathan Majors, because the other people that they've recruited from Hollywood that have been kind of soured, who have soured their own career, like Gina Carano, she made comments about how being a conservative in the modern era is like being a Jewish person during the Holocaust. Obviously not the same. Obviously a terrible thing to say. And she got fired from The Mandalorian and was fired off Disney, off their payroll. And so she, made a big stink about it. Like, I've been canceled for my political opinions and this and that. And she made a Daily Wire movie or two, which nobody saw. And now she's supposed to be having a big fight with Ronda Rousey or something. Just grasping for her 15 minutes back. But that is a lot different than a guy who abused his girlfriend. It's not the same. A woman having terrible, stupid opinions and a guy who fucking committed a crime. They're not the same. So, the Daily Wire deciding he was canceled by the woke left. Let's have him star in a movie. Was he canceled by the woke left or was he canceled by the law? It's not really the same thing. So I don't know. I'm not gonna watch it, whatever the fuck it is. I don't give a shit. I just think it's interesting. I think this just opened the door to an interesting conversation about who does and doesn't get punished for the things they do in Hollywood, or just by society in general. But then also what's considered canceled now to the right wing? Is it crimes? Is Donald Trump canceled for all the times he abused women and children, most likely? Or was he canceled by the woke left for just being too cool? Is that what happened? I don't know. I think everything is terrible and everything's getting worse by the day. So all I've got is the movies. Oh, speaking of which, I didn't put this in the sheet, but I guess we'll talk about it. The Paramount buying Warner Brothers thing. So this isn't a done deal yet. I know a lot of people are scrambling like, oh, it's so fucking over. It's never been more over. And that might be true, but it is, to my knowledge, and from what people like David Zaslav, CEO of Warner Brothers Pictures, has been saying, this isn't expected to close for like a year. But then there was also like a leak where he was behind closed doors talking about like, oh, if this deal just falls apart, we still get $7 billion. So, which is actually insane. What kind of a fucking clause is that? That if I agree to buy something but I can't fulfill, you still get $7 billion? That's fucking insane. I'm not even going to go over the numbers of which Paramount is buying Warner Brothers, because it's just unfathomable amounts of fuck you money. It's crazy. But so what had happened was Warner Brothers was going up for sale. Universal decided they didn't want it. I don't remember who else was in the bidding pool. But ultimately, it came down to Netflix really wanting it because they saw a great business opportunity to have access to all of those movies and TV shows and IP that they could put on their terrible streaming service and deprive of movie theater releases. But the Paramount people who are in bed with Trump, because which Ellison is it? I don't know. Larry Ellison? I don't know. One of them. He wants to control the media apparatuses that Warner Brothers has access to, like CNN. And it's expected that once this closes, Barry Weiss, who has ruined CBS, will also ruin CNN. Not that CNN is necessarily an incredible place for news, but it's not as bad as Fox News or CBS, so it's something that will then fall to the Trump regime. That was the real thing that they wanted. And I know it's not going to stop there. They will infect other aspects of Warner Brothers. But, the thing about Paramount, though, is that is a company that is bleeding money. They have been in the red for a very long time. They're trying to buy a company with money they don't seemingly have. That being said, they are also owned by billionaires who are in bed with a billionaire who's the president, who has a bunch of billionaire friends. So it's not like the money can't exist. They can get that money. But, it's still fucked, more or less. I hate this. I hate this a lot. I think the acquisition of any company like this is terrible. Had Netflix bought Warner Brothers, it still would have been bad. They would have killed a lot of jobs. And Netflix's plans weren't exactly good. But somehow that was a better deal than the Paramount one. Because at least Netflix isn't sucking Trump off the way Paramount is. So it would have been a little better. But it still wasn't the greatest outcome. Ultimately, this all fucking sucks. But, who's to say? Maybe this will fall apart. Maybe the Democrats can do something for once in their goddamn lives and they can stop this from happening. And we can stop giving endless power to a fucking madman. Anywho, on the topic of Paramount, there's a new G.I. Joe movie happening. This is interesting, though. Danny McBride and Max Landis. Danny McBride, known funny man who everyone likes, and Max Landis, rapist, are writing are each going to write a script, and then the studio is going to combine them into one script. Not even just pick one or the other. Not like, hey, you guys can both have a hand at this, and we'll pick the one we like more. Just, you write one, and we'll Frankenstein them together. Great fucking idea. Incredible stuff. Jesus Christ. But yeah, the only reason I'm really curious about this is why? Why are we doing G.I. Joe? Every time we've done G.I. Joe, it's gone nowhere. Nowhere interesting, at least. I think it's because a lot of these people that are trying to make G.I. Joe movies, like the last two they made, they can't decide if they want to be cool sci-fi military movie or campy cartoon movie, like the original cartoon. There can be a middle ground. I think the Bumblebee movie, it kind of strikes that perfectly. It does feel like a cartoon, but it also does feel like a fun, cool sci-fi movie, like E.T. It goes for E.T. and Iron Giant vibes, and I think it succeeds. That was what Stephen DeKnight, something like that. But he really cooked with that. It's a great movie. I don't know if they're gonna be able to strike that with G.I. Joe, but also, the last Transformers movies, Rise of the Beasts. In the end, it ends with the reveal that G.I. Joe exists in this universe, and they're going to team up with the Transformers or something. Is that what this is? Are we doing Transformers G.I. Joe team up? Because I'm cool with that. You want to have a G.I. Joe man team up with Optimus Prime? Sure, let's do that. You could get Chris Hemsworth to be Mr. G.I. Joe, and you can have him voice Optimus Prime again. Because I think he's got a great Optimus Prime voice. So, Peter Cullen, he's getting a little older. He's not going to be with us forever. So, if we're bringing back Optimus Prime, I say just let Hemsworth do it from now on. Because Transformers 1 is great, and Hemsworth is a great voice for that role. But yeah, I mean, I'm not particularly interested in a G.I. Joe movie. But if it's like G.I. Joe and also Bumblebee's there, then I'm seated. So, we'll see. But also, again, like this whole... I'll write a script, and you write a script, and the studio will just Frankenstein them together is a really fucking stupid idea. But anyway, let's get to the main thing. The news story that I have more things to say about than the others. So we got our first look at the God of War TV adaptation. I have a lot of thoughts on this. I was going to go over the entire casting list because they cast everybody. But then I was thinking, I don't fucking care about this. And that's what I want to talk about. This show shouldn't exist. I'm really getting tired of, we take a very cinematic video game and we take all the cool magic and charm and whimsy out of it and we make a boring fucking TV show about it. The Last of Us did it. This is doing it. Fucking stop. Stop. Uncharted tried and failed. I don't see a point, and I made a video about this, and I got fucking dogged on in the comments. I've never opened that comment section out of just raw fear of how it'll make my brain feel. But I'm right. I don't care. I'm right about this. The idea of taking something that is already very cinematic and just doing it again without, like, I don't know, innovating it, is a waste. And this God of War one might be the worst version of this. Because they're skipping all of the Greek stuff. All of Kratos' adventures in Sparta. And that's so integral to that game, to God of War. What was that? 2018, 2017? In Ragnarok. Framing Kratos and exploring who he is in those three games, the monster he is, the horrible, terrible, disturbing things he does. And then to take that and say, oh, by the way, he's a father now. He had a wife. He has a kid. He's grieving. Like, all of that is very poignant. And to skip all of the context around what makes him that way is interesting in a bad way. Why would you do that? And I guess then it becomes like, oh, what are we going to make a three seasons of television exploring the Sparta stuff? No, the answer is you just don't fucking do it at all. It doesn't look good also. Like this first look, they could have given us a better look at it, a better picture, because what this looks like is cosplay. And I think a lot of these games adaptations run into that. Even the ones that I kind of like that Tomb Raider movie from, what was that? 2017? The one with Alicia Vikander? I like that one. I think it's a solid movie. It's not great, but I think it's good. I like it. Wally Goggs is in it. It's good stuff. But, parts of that movie do feel like cosplay. It feels like a fan film in that sense. That this is a person who tried to replicate the look of the game and run around in the woods filming a fan video. And if that's what it was, there's charm in that. But I think the charm is lost when it's a multi-million-dollar production and it still looks like that. But you also can't escape that. Like The Last of Us, casting people that don't look one-to-one with the games, putting on the costumes from the game, it feels like parody. It feels like a sketch show. It feels like cosplay. And, when you see a cosplayer do it, I don't know. It just feels like there's a little more care in it when that happens. Like, I've seen people online dress up like Ellie, and there's, like, I don't know. I see that, and it makes me feel a different way than when Bella Ramsey is dressed to look like Ellie. It just doesn't feel as authentic. It doesn't feel like there's as much love when that happens. And that's how I feel about this first look at God of War. It just, I don't know. The beard looks like it was fucking glued onto him. It doesn't look very good. And, you know, part of the charm of those two God of War games is that they're filmed to look like a long oneer. There's no cut in either of those games, which works because, you know, computer animation. But it also, it works as a gameplay gimmick. How the cutscene to gameplay is seamless. The QTEs in the game don't break the flow. It's all designed around the camera following Kratos and Atreus on their journeys. Even in Ragnarok, when you switch between Kratos and Atreus, and like one of them is in Asgard and the other one is in like Niflheim or something, there's still no cut. They found a way to still keep that seamless, continuous shot. I can almost guarantee you they're not going to do that in the show. And even if they did, the flow is broken by the end of every episode. They're just not going to do it. I don't know. I don't understand the necessity, not the necessity, but the desire for someone to look at a very cinematic game and be like, whoa, wouldn't it be cool if I could just watch this? I didn't have to play it. Watch a gameplay on fucking YouTube if that's what you want. Come on. I think it's really stupid. But also, like, this first look is bad. Everyone kind of agrees that it's not very good. But they dropped the first look at Sophie Turner as Lara Croft back in December, and it looks amazing. She looks incredible. Was it December? It might have been January. But she looks so good. It's like a costume test for how she's going to look as Lara Croft. But it's perfect. I don't know why they didn't just do that. If you wanted to show off what Ryan Hurst is going to look like as Kratos, just do one of those again. How did Prime drop the Lara Croft one and it got everyone talking because it looks great and she looks great? And then they drop this one and it just looks like it's a bad screenshot from like a behind the scenes video, because I don't think it's going to be framed and lit like this in the show. And if it is, my goodness, because that game looks great, not just in the graphic sense, but in like an art direction sense. And if you're just going to not do that, then fuck off. You can keep it. I'm not going to watch this. I watched season 1 of The Last of Us, and then I stopped because I didn't like it. I don't have it in me to watch something that I don't have interest in. So, yeah, I'm just not going to watch this. But, yeah, that's ultimately it. I don't think I talked about that for as long as I thought I was going to. I don't think these super cinematic games need to be adapted into movies or TV shows. And I think ultimately they're very creatively bankrupt. Not a fan, not going to watch it. Let's move on. I don't have a topic this week, just had lots to say about the news, and now we're going to talk about Batman Returns. There's music playing in my house right now. I don't know if that's going to come through in the audio. I'm really hoping it doesn't, but also there's nothing I can do about it. But Batman Returns. This is my second or third time ever watching this movie, and I really like it. I liked it a lot more this time than I ever have in the past. I just think it's really good. I think I've kind of accepted what it is, that it's Burton going insane. It's fucking balls to the walls, crazy and abstract and weird in a way that Burton, it didn't seem like he was allowed to be in Batman. And he just lets it all out in Returns. And I like it. I think it's really compelling. I think a lot of the issues I had with Batman 89 last week are rectified in this one, in a movie that came out 30 years ago. But like Keaton is better in this, I think. I think he kind of got his flow as Batman, and I wish they would have made that third one. But I also think Batman's written better in this one. He feels more competent. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's got a confidence in the way that he moves, in the way that he fights. He's got gadgets and tech for every situation. He feels more like Batman. He doesn't really... Actually, I guess he does do a little detective work in this. But he feels more like Batman than he does in the 89 one. The suit is better. I was misremembering how much I like the Return suit. The cowl is perfect. The logo is excellent. I love when the wings come out, when he jumps off that rooftop after talking to Catwoman. Oh my god, that shot of him putting his arms out and the wings just... Oh, it's so good. Speaking of Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer is just fucking running, somersaulting, and backflipping circles around everybody else in this movie. She is insanely good. There's an incredible moment of feminine rage when she tears up her apartment and when she really becomes Catwoman. That is really good. She's so seductive and sexy, but also terrifying and unsettling. Like, you almost feel gross for being attracted to her in this movie. It's really, really good performance. She's also really funny. I like in the end when Max Schreck is like, Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed like Batman? And she's like, he is Batman, you moron. That's so good. This version of Catwoman, the first time I saw this movie, didn't feel like Selena Kyle to me. Still doesn't. Kind of like this doesn't feel like Oswald Cobblepot. These are Burtonized versions of these characters and not like faithful adaptations of who they are in the comic books. But I also think that they fit this movie and this world enough. Like, they don't feel out of place here. But I think it works better for Joker because the Joker is a character that can bend and weave into different worlds while still feeling like the Joker, but he can be zany and weird and crazy. Whereas like the Penguin's a mob boss. He's a very straightforward mob boss character, which Matt Reeves really dialed in on. He's fucking Tony Soprano in the Batman universe. But you know, this version of Penguin, he's a weird sewer man. He's grotesque. He's got birth defects that make him look like a penguin. He eats raw fish. He bites a man's nose off. He gropes a woman. He's awful. He's terrible. But he's like a weird little creature. And this version of Catwoman just sort of thinks she's a cat. She's a furry. And, you know, like, they're not entirely accurate to who they are in the comic books, but they fit this world. They've been rewritten and recontextualized to work in this Burton world. I think Gotham looks better in this one than it does in 89. But also, like, the sewers in Gotham are, like, we get to see sewers, we get to see a cemetery, we get to see a little bit more of the rooftops. It feels like an expansion of what we already saw. And I would have been really curious to see what Burton would have done with a third one. He was going to bring back Billy D. Williams as Two-Face. That would have been awesome. I think he did want to do Riddler. But yeah, I mean, I would have loved a Burton Batman trilogy. I think that would have been really cool. I know there's continuation comic books. There's like a Batman 89 comic run where they introduce a bunch of other Batman villains in this world through like this kind of lens. So I think I'm going to read those now that I've rewatched these movies. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't as shocked with this one as I was when I went back to 89. Like, I was really blown away by how much I loved Batman 1989 when I rewatched it. But this one, like, I've always kind of liked this one. But coming back to it kind of solidified where I stand. Like, yeah, I like the way it looks. I like everyone's performance, especially Michelle Pfeiffer. I love the soundtrack. The Elfman score. I love all these other things. It just solidified that, yeah, I like this movie, but it didn't blow me away the way 89 did. But yeah, it's good. I think it's really good. But in terms of homework for next week, we're going to take a break from Batman. We're going to do The Bride of Frankenstein. Hang on, let me bring up the actual year. Because The Bride, the new one with Jessie Buckley, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, is out next week. So homework is Bride of Frankenstein from 1935. A good year, probably. I've only seen this one once, and it was when I was young. I was like really young. Of all the Universal monster movies, the classic Universal monsters, this is probably the one I returned to the least. So I am curious to see what I have to say about it, coming to it now as a cynical, old, awful man. But in terms of other weekly media stuff, new issue of Absolute Wonder Woman came out. Incredible. So good. She fights Giganta. Zatanna just fucks off. I thought that was going to be something. They've been setting up Zatanna, or Kelly Thompson has been setting up Zatanna the last couple issues. And I'm sure she'll come back. This current arc is called Season of the Witch. So I'm sure Zatanna will make an appearance again. But she finds a way to spit out the Starro controlling device that Veronica Cale has put in her, and she just fucks off. So it leaves Diana to battle Cheetah, Giganta, and the Fish Lady, who I'm unfamiliar with. And it's an awesome fight. Giganta keeps getting bigger, so Diana keeps casting a magic spell that lets her match her height. So by the end of their fight, they're both the size of Godzilla, just fighting through Gateway City. It is so cool. And to see, like, the way that fight ends is Diana just puts her in a sleeper hold, and she's like, I'm so sorry. I hope when you wake up, we can talk this out. Go to sleep now. Peace be with you. It's so good. Kelly Thompson just has a great grasp and understanding of Wonder Woman, just as a character, as a person. It's so good. And then the issue ends with Veronica Cale sending in another powerful magician to battle Diana, who I'm unfamiliar with who this character is. I think it's Zatara's dad, whose name is escaping me. But I think it's him. I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. I'm unfamiliar. Maybe it's a redesign and I don't recognize who it is. But as of now, I don't know who this character is. But I'm really excited for the next issue. I am loving Absolute Wonder Woman. I think I might like it a little more than Absolute Batman. Maybe. But those are the two Absolute runs that I'm really, really, really enjoying. I'm not caught up on Superman. I kind of got bored with it and I stopped keeping up with it. Absolute Green Lantern, really enjoying. But I also am not caught up with it. I haven't touched Absolute Flash. I haven't touched Absolute Martian Manhunter, but apparently that one's amazing. They announced Absolute Green Arrow, which I will get into when it comes out. And I know that the Absolute Catwoman spinoff is coming soon. So, yeah, lots of good stuff. Also, it's March. There is currently about to start, there's going to be a new Deathstroke, Batwoman, and Lobo ongoing series. I'm probably going to get into the Deathstroke and the Batwoman one. Lobo is a character that I don't have any particular love for, but if I hear it's good, I'll check it out. But beyond that, I'm continuing my rewatch of Daredevil. I'm on season 2. As of right now, I'm on episode 11, so I'm about to finish it. It's good. It's not as good as season 1, which I remember being the case, but I forgot how compelling the Punisher stuff is. The trial of Frank Castle is gripping. Like, every time that was on, it was like, this is the most important thing in the world to me right now. But then we cut from that to the Elektra and the Hand plot line, and it's just not as interesting. I understand at the time they wanted to go more comic booky with Daredevil, but I think a lot of the charm of that show and that character was how human and grounded they made him. Like, he wasn't doing fucking triple backflips off a person's head and then landing in a split and throwing the billy clubs in like 2 different directions or whatever, which is a thing that he probably hasn't literally done in the comics, but he can basically do that shit. They made him more human. They made him more believable. And a lot of people really, really grasped onto that. And I just think, to go from that to you have to fight ninjas is a little silly. The Elektra stuff's really good. Elodie Young as Elektra is great. She's really good. And her and Charlie Cox have great chemistry. But then, like, the Punisher stuff's really interesting, and the conversations they have about morality and, should we be killing our enemies or should we give them a path back? Do we have faith in the system and this and that? Like, I find all of that really gripping. Additionally, though, I forgot how fucking pro-cop and propaganda-filled season 2 is. There's, like, it kind of stops after a little while, but there's a couple moments where Matt basically will turn to the camera and he's just like, the police are the real heroes. The cops are the real saviors of society. Not me, not Daredevil. It's the police. And it's just so fucking grating. I hate it. I really do. As someone who has, like, no real love for the police, like, it's just, I don't know. It comes out of fucking nowhere. And I don't like it, especially because the show doesn't really seem to back that up. Like, they want to push that message, but they don't really believe in it because most of the cops that are in this show are corrupt as shit, and they're terrible. But yeah, those are the guys I'm going to put my fucking faith in. Okay. But at the same time, the show then says that Matt will give little speeches like, we need heroes, we need vigilantes, we need people that are willing to make a difference in their own way because the system's failed them. And then we go back to, but the police and the system, it all works. It's great. It's good. We gotta have to have our faith in it. I don't know. It's just all over the place. I don't like it. Season 1 doesn't really feel that way. Season 2 absolutely does. I don't remember 3. And then Born Again, from memory, because I haven't watched it since it came out, it's kind of harsh on the police and the legal system and the way that it fails people. So I'm really excited to go back to that and see if I'm remembering that correctly. Plus, I think, like, right now in our current climate, there is something really therapeutic about seeing the villains in this upcoming season of Daredevil are the cops. That he's going to be beating the shit out of cops every week because they are the bad guys. I don't know. I think that's cool. But that's that's it. That's gonna do it for Turkey Talk Turkey Talk episode 3. But yeah, homework is Bride of Frankenstein 1935. If you watch it, leave comments. I'll respond to them. Love to have a conversation. Next week we'll talk about The Bride. Regardless of how many things I have to say about it, that is the topic. Locking it in. Bride review. And that's it. That's gonna do it. So I hope you've enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube shenanigans. And I hope you have a lovely, lovely day. Bye.